What is up, guys? Randomonium here. This is the long-awaited TSM versus Team Liquid NA LCS Finals Game 5. The championship is on the line. We're going to be breaking down the pick ban phase, and I will be doing a full VOD review at 2x speed. I want to make this video as short as possible for people. I know most people have already watched this game, but if you haven't watched this game yet, I will be spoiling the results because I'm doing a full VOD review. And yeah, if you don't want those results spoiled, go watch the game and come back. I won't be as entertaining as probably the other shoutcasters on the LCS desk. I'm just going to be focusing mainly on macro strategy and things like that, and focusing on pick ban and win conditions and all that fun stuff. So first off, the bans that we have on TSM side is the Rise, Gangplank, and Tahm Kench. This makes sense. They're trying to ban out Jensen from a split pusher, banning out Impact from somebody who can scale really well and survive the laning phase, and banning out Core JJ's Tahm Kench. The only other potential ban they could have gone for would have been the Skarner, since Smithy was popping off on Skarner the past 2 games. Team Liquid goes for the Sylas, Jace, and Tarek. So the Sylas makes sense because that's typical red side ban to avoid people first picking it on blue side. Jace makes sense since Broken Blade could definitely get on that champion. He can definitely run away with a game on Jace. And then Tarek ban to deny the Son and Tarek bot lane. So I think the bans are pretty good. We'll see what the team started going towards. So the first pick for TSM will wind up being the Galio, most likely going to the support position. Galio's a pretty good pick, pretty well-rounded. The Braum is also a really good pick that's well-rounded, that makes sense for Team Liquid since Tahm Kench is banned. They lock that in, and we'll see what their next pickup is if they go for like a Lucian. The Lucian Braum bot lane is pretty strong, but Double Lift I don't think we'll want to go to the Lucian for Game 5. Skarner makes a lot of sense. So we got the Galio, and then we've got the Braum and the Skarner on Team Liquid side. So if I pull this over, we can see what the advantages and disadvantages look like. Let me just zoom in a little bit so you can see that a little bit better. You can see that Galio makes their team primarily attack based on TSM side, and on Team Liquid side primarily makes it catch based with the Skarner Braum, which means that Team Liquid currently has the advantage since catch compositions are traditionally good into attack compositions, since catch compositions are great at picking off opponents before 5v5 team fights, which means that an attack composition cannot 5v5 team fight the way that they want to. So things that TSM could go towards, as you can see that their secondary right now is Siege, so they could definitely go towards a Siege composition with picks like Karthus, Zoe, Ezreal, things like that, and that would force Team Liquid to go more towards an attack composition if they wanted to counter the Siege composition. So we'll see what TSM goes for. I think they're going towards Karthus, Zoe, and Ezreal would be the best options for them, because then they would be have a pretty strong Siege composition. Ezreal comes in, great pick. Let's see, and immediately the Zoe. So those are 2 phenomenal picks. Those are exactly the picks I wanted to see for TSM. So if I plug in the Ezreal, and I plug in the Zoe, you can see that now they're primarily a Siege composition, and now Team Liquid only has a 24% chance to win. So how does Team Liquid counter this? Well, the easiest way for them to counter this would be to go towards an attack composition. So if they draft Hard Engage, so you can see like Impact's Kennen or his Vladimir, things like that. He may not want to show those picks that early though, because of they haven't shown what Broken Blade is playing yet. But anybody who's got like a lot of like team fight power, engage potential, that kind of stuff. So we'll see what they go towards with the last pick. It would make sense to go for an 80 carry since they picked up the Ezreal. They wind up going for the LeBlanc against the Zoe. So that'll keep them still as a catch composition. But that actually does not help them that much. As you can see, they are still a catch composition against a siege composition. The reason why siege compositions are traditionally good into catch compositions is siege compositions can stay outside of the range of catch compositions. Catch compositions want to try and catch people out, but siege compositions traditionally outrange them, which means that by the time a catch composition is actually able to catch someone, the siege composition has already poked them down so much that the siege composition can just start a fight and they can wind up winning the fight. So a lot of times catch compositions tend to struggle against siege compositions unless they're really decisive. So what I would want TSM to do is I'd want them to ban out a lot of like attack composition champions, hard engaged champions. Jarvan's actually a pretty good ban. Sivir's a good ban, I think, from them. They might want to try and focus on Deboleff's pool. Irelia? I don't know if that's a good ban or not. Because Irelia could actually have been good on Team Liquid's side, but I don't know if anybody really wants to play Irelia on their side. Kennen is a great ban for TSM, because Team Liquid definitely wants to go towards an attack composition if they can, and Kennen is a great attack composition top laner. Doublelift is thinking about the Vayne. Could be a good pickup in this situation. Kai'Sa works well as well. So, but I don't think this actually pushes them enough towards the attack composition that they would like. So we go for the Kai'Sa. So yeah, they're still catch. So they're still at a disadvantage. So really, TSM is in the driver's seat. So the only way that they can potentially screw this up is if they go like Karthus here, if they go Karthus and one other top lane champion that can do well in a siege composition, then I think they're in a huge advantage. But we'll see what they go towards. The Kali, that doesn't help them. That's going to put them more towards a siege, or sorry, a catch composition. And the Rek'Sai. The Rek'Sai also hurts them as well, because that also brings them more of a catch composition. So if we pull in the Akali and we pull in the Rek'Sai, you can see that now they are a catch composition with a siege secondary, which means that they have the same composition as Team Liquid. They're both catch compositions, which, yeah, that's not what you wanted at all. They basically gave up they had a huge advantage being a siege composition, and they elected to go into a mirror matchup. So now the game is a coin flip rather than TSM having a huge advantage going into the game. Shen could actually work pretty well. That could potentially push them towards a protect composition. They go for the Vladimir. So the Vladimir is going to not be enough to pull them over into an attack composition, but they'll stay a catch composition. So what this winds up doing is both teams are catch compositions, which means that it's roughly a coin flip. Team Liquid has a slight advantage because Team Liquid is a secondary attack composition, while TSM is a secondary siege composition. Attack compositions are traditionally pretty good into siege compositions because attack compositions have the engage potential needed to start a fight. When siege compositions, they don't want to fight, they want to poke. But attack compositions can usually just run right through them and just engage onto them really fast. So Team Liquid has the better 5v5 team fight. They have pretty equal catch potential. So TSM is going to want to slow the game down, or not really slow the game down, but slow the fights down. They don't want to like immediately engage into fights. They want to try and poke as much as they can, hit those bubbles from Fog of War, things like that. Let the Ezreal poke a little bit. If they go immediately into a 5v5 team fight, then Team Liquid is going to win that more often than not. So we'll see how the game actually turns out. So I will fast forward to the actual game start. Gotta love the graphics. So as far as pushing lanes, lane priority, that kind of stuff, um, should be relatively even in top lane. Vladimir's not the best early, but neither is Akali. In mid lane, I think Zoe will probably have a little bit of a push. In bot lane, it's probably going to be the Kai'Sa that has the push until the first back, and then Ezreal should have a stronger push after that. And then as far as the jungle, I think that Rek'Sai is stronger when not fighting on the spires, but Skarner is stronger when fighting on the spires. So it looks like the team TSM leashed bot side and Team Liquid leashed top side. Ooh, good trade in mid lane, which means that Team Liquid is going to have the push on bot side and TSM is going to have the push on top side right now. So Smithy is making it. He predicted that Acadian's going to go for his Raptors, so he goes to contest, and Acadian can't really fight Smithy when he's on top of his Spire. That's a little ambitious. I don't know if I like that ward placement by Core JJ, because we knew that the Rex side was top side. They probably could have delayed that ward a little bit longer. There's not much that's going to go on here right now. We're really looking for the first jungle gank. That's really what's going to be the big impact. Both sides are just content to farm up for right now. So Broken Blade is getting a pretty huge advantage right now in top lane. This could be a good gank for the Skarner. He's thinking about it. So far, both teams are pretty even. You know, you see CS numbers are pretty even. Summoner spells really haven't been burned. Very passive early game from both junglers. I think both teams are a little antsy right now. This is for the entire title, so they're going to be a little bit nervous. Looks like TSM is going to go for a early Ocean Drake. So, okay, this is actually really important. So they're able to go for this because Impact had to burn his teleport because he was getting pushed out by Broken Blade, which means that Akali had TP advantage, which means that if they try to contest here, if Team Liquid tries to contest, then Broken Blade can TP and they'll be in a 5v4 and they'll most likely win the team fight. So this is actually a good play by Team Liquid to not contest this Ocean Drake. Yeah, it sucks that TSM gets the Ocean Drake, but it's far better that they get the Ocean Drake than a couple of kills. So yeah, that was really well set up by TSM. They realized that they had the advantage in top lane, and they were able to get an objective off of it. That's exactly what you want to see. You see these small advantages they gain, resulting in objectives. That's a sign of a really good team. Broken Blade is just terrorizing Impact right now. That's actually really impressive. Skarner's coming in. Ooh. Yeah, you hate it when that happens. It seemed like they weren't on the same page because they definitely gave the Akali an easy kill by the pathing that the Skarner took. But I understand why he took that pathing because that would, that's the common jungle pathing that you take. But yeah, Broken Blade's he's in a really good spot right now. He's trying to take over his top lane. Blue buff stolen away. You can see TSM has got vision in the jungle right now. So because both teams are catch compositions, a lot of times it's going to really come down to execution. And right now, TSM has the better execution out of the two teams. Problem is that the later the game goes, the less your individual skill matters, and the more like your ability to team fight or your ability to exercise your win conditions are. And because TSM has Team Liquid has better team fighting. I think that kind of favors Team Liquid. Unless TSM is able to really slow the fights down and get a lot of poke damage before the fight starts. So Rift Herald is up. I don't think that Team Liquid can go for it because of the amount of pressure that Broken Blade has in top lane. Ooh, I don't like this TP. Because the Drake is coming up in 30 seconds as well. I guess they wanted to go for that because they wanted to force the Rift Herald immediately. I guess I can understand that. So yeah, that's a good play. They definitely had a stronger top side, so it makes sense that they'd go for the Rift Herald as soon as they can. They spawn the Rift Herald. Ooh, I do not like the Skarner coming up here. Oh, but they're able to get a kill. Yeah, that's actually very interesting that they were able to get a pick off of that. I would think that they would rather want to trade objectives. The Braum teleported top. Ooh, I don't like that at all either. Because now TSM has priority on the Drake that just spawned. So because Team Liquid went for this play where they tried to contest the Rift Herald spawn and all that stuff, they got a kill, but they ended up giving up the Drake. I don't think that's a fair trade. I think I would have much preferred to have had a Drake on Team Liquid side. Especially with like a Skarner. Like the movement speed is really good on Skarner and on Vladimir. I mean, this tower is going to go down. They're going to lose first tower. There's nothing they can do about it. So trying to come up here to try and stop that, I don't think was a good call. I think they should have just went for the Drake and looked for pressure in bot lane instead. So this is good. This is exactly what I would want to see Team Liquid doing. Is they're setting up a potential dive bot lane, forcing them off the towers. Right now, Team Liquid is strong bot side, but they're weak top side, and then mid lane looks pretty even. Yeah, and I think the advantage for the jungle goes towards Acadian right now on the Rek'Sai. You would expect that since Rek'Sai is such a strong early game jungler. So it looks like they're keeping both teams are keeping their lanes, even though two towers have fallen. I would have expected them to actually do a lane swap. So that's a bit interesting. So they're trying to set up a dive in mid lane, and that's gonna be relatively hard. Yep. So they got vision on that. When Acadian got the Spire, they triggered some vision. They saw that Death Brush. So Drake is up in a minute and 15. I think that if Team Liquid keeps Kai'Sa in the bot lane, that actually favors Team Liquid because Akali and Vladimir could both TP down if they wanted, but the Team Liquid bot lane is definitely stronger than the TSM bot lane right now. Yeah, so you can see that Team Liquid definitely has priority in the river around the Drake, and they have the vision control right now. Akali is grouping up to contest the Drake. I think that makes sense. Ezreal TP's in. Vladimir is here as well. Akali's on the flank. I don't like the way the Team Liquid split out right now. This is much better. The way that they were able to gain back that control. They lost the Spire, so that's actually a big deal with the with the Skarner, not having the Spire under their control. They might have to give up the Drake because of that. Ooh, they wind up getting the catch onto Broken Blade. Broken Blade's able to get out with his ultimate. Okay, now the Spire control is back in Team Liquid's side. I think that it gives them the advantage. They wind up getting the Drake. Let's see if they can wind up getting any kills or anything. Wind up landing the bubble onto Smithy, but they wind up getting out. They lose Vladimir. I think that's a pretty fair trade. The Drake for 1 kill, but TSM actually does a great job punishing them, being out of position, and gets the mid tower. So now that was definitely an advantage for TSM. So TSM got the better of that trade because they were able to get that tower on the back end of things. Yeah, I definitely think that Vladimir was way out of position there. He should have known that they were coming towards, or rather that he was going to be in vision, and they could have easily turned to pick him since the rest of his team was down on the bot side. So having the Akali in bot lane actually really favors TSM right now because they just got the mid tower, so they've got that last tower in bot lane that they want to try and get rid of. Yeah, so you can see that Team Liquid is bringing down Jensen to try and help the Vladimir because Broken Blade is kind of out of control on the Akali right now, even with only 1 kill. TSM has about a 3,000 gold lead, which is definitely a big deal. I think a lot of that gold lead is on the Akali. But both AD carries are on 2 items. The Zoe is on 2 items. The LeBlanc is not yet. I don't think the Team Liquid wants to fight until they're on item parity. Okay, so LeBlanc's got her 2nd item as well. So they've got item parity on most of their carries. The biggest disadvantage is the Akali versus the Vladimir, but Vladimir can just farm that out, and he'll be a bit stronger in team fights, I think, later on in the game. Akali's going to get this tower in bot lane. She should be able to get it. That's interesting. So they decided not to go for that tower. I guess they wanted more CS to die to the tower. So Infernal Drake is spawned. Vladimir is topside. I think that they just decided they didn't want to fight for this at all. They're going to try and get pressure in top lane. So they're going to wind up trading tower for tower. And they get some pressure in mid. I think that's a bad trade on Team Liquid's part. They wind up giving up the Infernal. They wind up going 1 for 1 on towers. Yeah, I think that was a bad trade. I mean, the Team Liquid is basically even except for the Akali. So yeah, I don't know if I agree with that call right there. These Drakes are going to start to really hurt as the game progresses. That's smart. So that's actually a really good play, is that anytime they try to clear out your vision in Baron Pit, you attack the Baron from over the wall and it will start attacking the enemy. They're trying to defend mid right now. Broken Blade is caught. He winds up using the Zonias. Ooh, Broken Blade just going off. Yeah, Team Liquid seems like they're playing pretty scared right now. Yeah, that stopwatch just buys them so much time. But Team Liquid on the other side, they should be trying to engage on the Ezreal. I don't know why they weren't trying to engage on the Ezreal, because the Ezreal was alone right there. And he went Trinity Force rather than Iceborne Gauntlet, so it's not like he has a lot of slows. This Skarner should be able to chase him down. Team Liquid was able to get mid outer tower, so now it's 3 towers to 3. That's good at least. Next Drake is Infernal. I feel like Team Liquid has got to fight for this. They can't bleed another Infernal Drake. Great Braum ultimate. But I don't know if it's going to be enough. Yeah, winds up being a complete ace for TSM. Not looking good for Team Liquid right now. TSM definitely has had the better execution. And since they're mirror comps right now, the team that has a better execution usually wins in mirror comps. So right now, the best way for Team Liquid to come back into this is that they need to scale and make it so that the gold disadvantage doesn't matter as much anymore, and then rely on their team fighting, which their team fighting should be better. Their 5v5 team fighting should be better if they're on item parity. But right now they are a little bit of gold behind. So now it's over 5,000 gold. That tower's going to drop. There's a pretty big wave going up in top side. LeBlanc's going to go grab that wave. So for TSM, they need to start clearing out Baron Vision. They need to start doing that Baron dance. Team Liquid needs to fight to retain at least vision control in their red side jungle. Next Drake is Elder. I don't know what the heck Jensen's doing. Okay, there we go. He's tweaking out there for a second. So Elder's almost up. Elder's up in a minute 30. That'd be a pretty fat Elder for TSM if they can go for it. Oh, what's Ven doing? That's the pick they needed. So catch comp versus catch comp. Team Liquid is able to get the pick. They wind up forcing a fight. They get a secondary pick. This is exactly what Team Liquid wants. All right, Team Liquid's able to secure it. So yeah, that's how a catch composition works, is that you're just looking for a single pick. And yeah, Sven being out of position there, that was a huge, huge issue. Kaden goes in for the hero steal. Doesn't quite get it. Yeah, that was a huge mistake by Sven. Now Elder is up. I don't know. I don't think this is a good call. They should just be pushing with Baron. If they go for the Elder, it's basically a 50-50. Yeah, this is a bad call from Team Liquid. They just need to push. Just push. Just push with your Baron buff. Don't waste your Baron buff. You can use this Baron buff to equalize on gold. I don't like this at all. They're basically turning the game into a coin flip. And they're wasting the Baron buff that they just got. Sven is able to get out. I mean, it's turning into a really sloppy fight. It looks like Team Liquid is gaining the advantage, but yeah, they're just wasting Baron. Oh, this pains me right now. They have Baron. They could have gotten at least 1 or 2 inner towers, and they would have been on equal gold. Instead, they're going for this 50-50 at the Elder, which favors TSM. If TSM gets the Elder, that's a massive buff. Kaiser goes in. They're able to turn it. Team Liquid is able to turn that fight. but there's just no need for it. They have Baron. So yeah, lots of mistakes. It feels like in this game 5. I think both teams are a little bit antsy. So Sven had the mistake where he got caught out, which resulted in Team Liquid getting the Baron. But Team Liquid doesn't do anything with the Baron. They wind up trying to go for this Elder play, and they dance around Elder and waste most of their Baron buff. And thankfully, they're able to win the team fight. But just it seems so unnecessary to go for this 50-50 when they could just push lanes, get some towers down, equalize the gold more, and then they can go for the fight. Gold is equal. I think that favors Team Liquid because Team Liquid has the better 5v5. TSM has got to play around trying to get the pick right now. I think that Broken Blade grouping up with the team is actually a mistake. Well, I guess he has to because Vladimir's got the TP and Akali doesn't. There's the pick onto the Galio. Yep, so they wind up getting picked over and over again. Team Liquid was able to turn that around mainly because it was the Sven pick was huge, and they were able to just barely win out in that team fight at Elder Drake, but they didn't need to go for that. And then these picks are phenomenal. So they wind up getting the pick onto the Galio, winds up being a 5v4. Broken Blade does what he can. But yeah, you can see as the game goes later and later, if you're trying to fight into areas where you don't have vision control, it gets really hard. So this is what I wanted to see Team Liquid do with their first Baron buff, is push, at least 2 lanes, preferably 3 if they can. This might be all she wrote. I think that TSM is going to get one more team fight. That's all they're going to get. They're being way too indecisive. They need to press that go button before the third inhib goes down. Third inhib is down, though. Very split in the team fight. Yep, their TSM was way too split. They needed to be able to engage on a single target. So, yep. Yeah, that was TSM's game, and they threw it. They threw it in the pick ban phase. They had the winning composition with the siege composition, and they went to a catch composition instead, which made the game a coin flip. They had the advantage in the early game until Sven got picked, which resulted in the Baron going over to Team Liquid. And then Team Liquid kind of botched their first Baron. I felt like they could have gotten a lot more out of that first Baron if they had gone for towers rather than going for the Elder Drake. I definitely think that Team Liquid winning that team fight around Elder Drake, that was really good on their part. So that's definitely a kudos to them for that. But there was no reason to go for such a risky play like that. And then, yeah, a couple of picks resulted in a second Baron for Team Liquid. And then lack of focus from TSM at that last fight resulted in them getting pretty much clean aced. So hope you guys enjoyed that. I know this was a longer video, and I'm sorry if it was a little bit boring. I'm not as entertaining as the shoutcasters, shouting all the time. Oh my god, look at that play! But yeah, I was trying to make this more educational and talk more about like macro play and things like that. So hopefully you guys liked it. If you want to see more of these full VOD reviews, let me know. But I hope you guys have a great day. This is Randomonium signing off.